John Luss here of Luss Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. I've got some really cool broadheads to test today. It's actually like one broadhead, but it comes in a few different dimensions. Okay, I'll explain it in a bit. But it's made by Vector Custom Shop. Up until recently, they only sold arrows, and they make custom designed arrows based on your bow, your draw length, and so forth, your dimensions. You just kind of contact them through their website, and you can order those custom built arrows. But recently, they came out with a 3-blade broadhead that I tested. It's called the MD3. And man, it did really well. I was so impressed with them and with their company that I reached out to them and asked them if they would give me a discount code to pass on to my viewers, and they did. So if you type in Lusk, just capital L-U-S-K, then you get free shipping on any order. So that's the MD3. You can also use that discount code for their new broadheads that I'm going to be testing today, and they're called the VBS, the Variable Broadhead System. Okay, so the basic thing is you can interchange some of these bleeders and the main blades and so forth with the ferrules and come up with different dimensions of really cool fixed blade broadheads. So let's zoom on in here. I'll go through some of the design features and specifications and show you the different models and so forth, and then we'll put them to the test. And I'm going to be using my test criteria for 2022. And for a description of that, read about it in the description right below this video. On your mobile device, you can just click on the title of the video and all the description of the tests, as well as how this had performed in each of the tests, as well as the price. It's all included there in that description. And for that, I'm going to be using my Bowtech CP28 for most of the shots, set at 72 pounds. Now, normally I use Bishop FOC King arrows, but they have this lip on them, okay, on the front kind of footer and collar there, and that doesn't fit with the blade over shaft design of these VBSs. So I dug out some old Easton Hex arrows that I used to use with a 75 grain brass insert, and so I'm going to be using those for the tests here today for the VBS. So let's zoom on in here and check it out. Here's a good look at the VBS, and man, this is a cool looking broadhead loaded with all kinds of neat features. I hope I cover it all. There's just so much going on. I don't even know where to start. Let's just start with the overall look. So you notice it's got these curved concave blades, okay, in both dimensions, both the main blades as well as the bleeders. And the reason for that is that aids in slicing. It aids in cutting tissue. The thought being that you're passing over, like, say, this much of tissue, but you have more surface area of the blade doing that. So that just allows it to slice more effectively as it penetrates. And again, it does that in both directions. You'll also notice that the ferrule has, and I hope you can see this here in the broadhead there, that's a good view. It has this beveled end to the ferrule, so it goes into the blade without any kind of a lip, and that's really unique. Almost every head I can think of that has a similar design has like a little edge right there that can catch on bone or catch on other things, catch on tissue. This one does not, so they've gone the extra mile to give that a nice bevel to where it's going to aid in penetration. It's going to slide right through, especially in a bone impact. I think that's going to make a bit of a difference there. Now the blades, by my measurements, are 0.057 inches thick. So really nice thick blades. And the bleeders are the same, 0.057 inches thick. The bleeders are vented, whereas the main blade is not vented. Another thing you'll notice is this blade over shaft design, that these blades go extend back over the end of the shaft, and that's just to keep the overall length of your arrow about the same as your field point. So that's going to help keep the spine the same. It's going to help in flight, and if your arrow's flying really well, that's going to help in penetration too. It's sharpened on all sides there. And it's double bevel sharpened all over. And you'll also notice that these tips, these edges of the blades have been cut off there. That's really interesting. I like that they've done that. That's a weak point in a lot of heads where they come to a really sharp tip. That tip gets really narrow as it's sharpened and as it comes to a tip, and it can be a weak point that can cause a fracture that can break off even more than that tip. So they've gone ahead and cut it off and sharpened the edges of it to where it's just going to be a little bit more durable. So with the with that feature, the overall short design as well as the thickness of the blades, I imagine it's going to be pretty durable here. Now, the ferrules are made out of stainless steel in some of the weights, like this one, the 125 grain with this 7/8 inch bleeder. In this package, this is a stainless steel ferrule that's brought to a Rockwell hardness of 55. So really strong ferrule right here. They also make them in the some of the other models with a grade 5 titanium just to save a little bit of weight. Now, here are some of the other models. This is exactly the same head, but it has a wider bleeder. So instead of 7/8 of an inch, it's got 1 1/8 inch. Man, that's a big cut, okay? And you can see the venting going on there. I'm not sure how durable that's going to be, but I do think it's going to open up a really nice wound channel. Then they're also making this head, which is a 1 1/2 inch cut. And then when you add the bleeders, okay, you're going to get even more cut in that dimension. So that's the VBS. It's all variable and interchangeable. So they have main blades that are 1 inches in diameter, 1 1/8 inches, or 1 1/2 inches. And then they have the secondary of the bleeders that are either 7/8 of an inch or 1 1/8 inch. And in all of them, the blades are a 440C stainless steel. So a decent quality steel, and again, pretty thick at 0.057 inches thick. Really eager to put this head to the test and see how it performs. $125. You get a little bit better view from the top here. The one with 1 1/8 inch bleeders penetrated 6.5 inches, and the one with 7/8 inch bleeders penetrated 7 1/4 inches. $175. The 1 1/8 penetrated through 54 layers, and the 7/8 penetrated through 61 layers. Both of the heads look brand new after the 3 shots through the MDF. The one with 7/8 inch bleeders still looks really good after 2 shots through the steel plate. The edges experienced a little bit of chatter, as you can see there in the picture. And then the holes are really nice. You know, they're just what you would expect, and especially like the thickness of those bleeders, because it really does open up a nice wound channel both directions. Now, the 1 1/8 inch bleeders broke off on the first shot into the steel plate. I was a little concerned about their durability because they are pretty wide and they don't have much of an angle to them. So they took a full brunt of impact there. And so they broke off, and actually the base of them shoved back and cut back into the end of the arrow shaft, as you can see there. But the main blades held together very well. And then here you can see the hole in the steel plate. It did relatively well, but that bleeders didn't cut all the way through, so it's not a very wide cut in the steel plate. Now, I don't think that would be a problem per se in an animal, but they're not as durable as the 7/8 inch model. So here's the head with the 7/8 inch bleeder after impacting the concrete, and you can see it held together very well. The edges are still in really good condition. It still spins very well. The only damage is it got slightly bent. You can see the main blade curled up just a little bit there, or if I rotate it around, you can see it curled down, but that's relatively minor considering such a hard impact. So really impressive durability. So what did you think of the VBS? Man, I really like this broadhead, okay? I love so much of what they've done to give it a nice curved blade, but then not have those pointy edges to make it a little bit more durable. The interchangeable bleeders for different animals you may be pursuing or different setups that you may have. The blade over shaft design, really thick main blades to it. It flew great. It penetrated pretty well there and was pretty durable. Now that 1 1/8 inch, bleeder, that's not going to be nearly as durable as the smaller ones, obviously. So you got to think about that. However, that is just kind of an extra thing in that bleeder. But man, I think they're onto something here, and I really want to encourage you to check out these broadheads. But look at the score sheet and see how they performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if it might be a good fit for you. But I'm going to have to add these to my quiver and try to put one through an animal as soon as I can. Good job, Vector. I hope you keep up the great work and look forward to seeing what you come out with next.